Hey, how's it going?
Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back to our channel.
Yes, this is Terrence and Jill, the God-Ordained Union.
Yes, and so if you see us in the same clothes, it's because we're knocking out a few videos. What you see is what you get. We don't do no edits. We don't do no fluff.
Yeah,
It is what it is. We got something to say, we're gonna say it. But welcome back to our
absolutely.
channel.
Yes.
If you are
New.
new and you wonder what this channel is all about, it is for those who are
In God's waiting room.
God's
What I
waiting
can
room.
call, what I call the elevation room.
You're waiting and
Yes.
praying for your soulmate. You're wondering where
Mm-hmm.
he or she is and feeling like he or she hasn't come yet. And so we've been there. We know what you're dealing with. We were waiting for a very long time. I was 52 when I walked down the
Yes.
aisle, 48 when I came across Terrence's profile on a dating app, uh, almost 50 when we started dating.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And
And I've been
yeah.
divorced for 14 years before she and I were introduced, and
Yeah.
and again, I was 50 when we met. So we've been in this for a long
We've
time,
been in it for
and
a
as a
while.
result, we created this platform, and
Mm-hmm.
our vision is to simply help increase kingdom marriages.
Yep. And so we're on a mission to help those like you who are waiting. We are here to inspire you, encourage you,
Yes,
to remind you that God ordains marriage. And
yes,
so if you want it, He has it for you. But there's some things that's probably you're probably dealing with and you're probably subconsciously holding on to that you don't realize
yes,
could be a block to why that person has not come yet. And so we're here on this channel is to shed some light on some of those barriers.
yeah. Some
But
of
at
you doubting yourself. Some of you
mm-hmm.
thinking that God don't hear you.
Some
Some
of
of you
you thinking you're
thinking
not
that you
good
don't
enough,
deserve it. Or
that you don't deserve it.
yeah,
Those are all mindset tricks that the enemy plays
yes,
on your
yes.
mind. And those are barriers that's keeping you stuck because that's his mission is to
Mm-hmm.
help still kill and destroy
Yeah,
that thing that God ordained. So
yes,
so once you know the tricks and schemes and plans of the enemy, it it frees you. You go through a process of deliverance, and
absolutely.
that's when that person comes in, or you could that person is there, that
Yeah,
person is probably
looking for you.
looking for you and around you on a day-to-day, but you're blocked.
Yeah,
You literally cannot see the person because the enemy has you
yes,
blocked. And
yes,
so yeah, so this channel is here to encourage you.
absolutely.
All right, y'all. We got a topic today because it is a deep one, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
think it's talked about enough. But I'm gonna let you roll with this. And the topic is she falling in love? And this is probably more for the men. Is she falling
Mm-hmm.
in love with you or your ego?
Wow, wow, and that topic right there is really huge, especially on social media right now, because of situations that I know you all have heard of. With Travis Hunter and what's going on in Colorado, and look,
So who is Travis Hunter? Because
Travis.
I mean,
Okay,
I only know because I got a husband now that I could
okay.
watch sports with. But who
Okay.
is Travis Hunter?
Okay. For those of you that don't know, Travis Hunter is a football player from Colorado. He played both sides. Played for
College.
Deion Sanders in college. And he's actually somebody that played with Deion before. And
Oh.
when Deion went up to Colorado, he took Travis along with his sons up to Colorado with them.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, Travis Hunter just won the Heisman Trophy,
Which is the highest trophy
which is
for
the
college.
highest individual thing you can do in college other than win the championship, the national championship.
Okay.
But this is an individual award.
Okay.
So he just won that for playing both sides of the field, which is offense and defense.
Mm.
But the thing is, now all of a sudden, there's some things that's been happening recently that's been getting a lot of attention on social media. So everybody and their mother, their grandmother, their grandfather has been commenting on what this young man should do. And so it's like,
So what
wow.
happened?
Well, one of the things that happened, and I seen this one after I heard about it. Someone made a comment and said something about Deion Sanders had to make her stand up when they
What was the
announced.
situation?
Well, I'm gonna get into
Okay.
that.
Okay.
He during the Heisman presentation during the
Ceremony.
ceremony when they announced Travis Hunter as the winner, when everybody stood up, she was sitting at the table, his girlfriend, and she did not stand up. And Dion basically reached over and kind of grabbed her by the shoulder, or tapped on the shoulder to say, get up. And she stood up at that point. So a lot of people started in saying, how in the world is this his woman? And when they announced him as the winner, she didn't even stand up like she cared that he won. And so a lot of comments, negative, mostly negative. You know, of course, you got other women saying, girl, you don't know what position you in. I'll replace you if you act like you don't know. And so, but you got a lot of stuff going on. There's other comments, the things that they were saying that she actually put on social media. For example, responding to a professional player's, she went on his page and put some type of comment on there, and they said that was disrespectful to Travis. And so I just want to say, there are a lot of young men that have worked their entire life. When I say entire life, I'm talking young men like 18, 19, 20 years old, 21, 22 in college, and they trying to get to the pro ranks to set their families free financially. And here's what I want to say about that. I have a huge, and I'm saying this from a perspective of, I wasn't the biggest high school star, but I was a very, very known athlete in high school. I went on to serve my country in the military. But within saying that, I also played and represented the United States in 3 different countries in basketball. So, and yeah, it's not on the same level of going pro and getting all these millions of dollars. But I will say this, you know, the military did use us to help be ambassadors while we were in those countries, have something to talk about other than let's shoot each other up and let's kill each other. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I say all that to say, young men, not only Travis, but to every young man that's going through something, you know, we have to, if you haven't already, you have to seek God, because we have to have a source of counsel that when all else fails, when all the chatter is getting loud, when you're getting so much feedback, negatively, positively, and you don't know which way to go, you got to have a source that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is my rock.
So let's get some context to this, because so Dion had to motion her to stand up. So it appeared that
her mind was somewhere else.
Her mind was somewhere else. And then other videos started to come out. There was another video where he was at a press conference and she had an attitude and she made a comment, I'm paraphrasing it, made a comment to say something like, do you want me to just sit here, or what am I supposed to do? Just sit here, or why are you doing that? She went on to say that, no, that's not how it was. You know, they had been taking pictures and stuff, you know, a lot, and whatever her rebuttal was. But it's all through social media. She's coming across as being taking the spotlight away from his shine as a Heisman Trophy winner. And it's also saying, and it doesn't help that they're an interracial couple, but it's also saying that she is not good for him, that she's not good for
his
him.
Image
and his
of
image.
What the pro teams are looking at right now,
yes,
as a total package of who Travis Hunter is.
Yes, and then so it also came across a lot of other guys from the last couple of years, had some video where they showed where she was in some uncompromising positions with them. And the message is trying to be pushed in social media that, Travis, you can do better than that. Like, why are you with her? There was also rumor that she said when they met 5 years ago that he was not even her type. And so, which goes into the title of this video, did she fall in love with him or his alter ego? Did she fall in love with his ego? Because, you know, like, and I think you brought up a good point, is when, and I've heard these stories many, many, many times. My husband was in college. He was very popular. You played football, baseball, and
I played basketball, ran track.
Football. He was like All-American. And I'm a grounded person. If I would have known him then I'm pretty confident that we would still be together. But I'm glad I did not know that, Terrence. I'm glad I didn't know him then, because, he could have been operating from a place of ego, and it could have come across as not his true, authentic self. And so that's it for you young guys, or you men who are, because I know there's a lot of, let me just say that there's a lot of men out there who are in positions in leadership, whether on their job or in ministry, and that they're operating in a very ego mindset, because they got a lot of people that are looking up to them. They're attracting a lot of people, and and some women may be trying to get with them, and only for their persona and not for the person who they are. And that's the thing. Does she like you for you, or is she falling in love with your image, your ego? And
that's really big, because I'm gonna tell you, even after I gave up sports, got out of the military and all of that stuff, I remember being a part of a company, and I was moving up the ranks. And y'all seen all my videos. Y'all know we're in the Charlotte market, and at the time, Charlotte didn't have what we considered a senior VP in the Charlotte area, and I was at the level just underneath that. And I remember one of the leaders came from a different market. It was still here in North Carolina, but they came down from a different market. And I remember his wife pulling me to the side, and she said, "Now that you're at this level, you need to be very careful." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "Because women are going to start to come to you more so than what they have in the past." And she said, "And you don't know if it's because you're about to hit this leadership position, or if they genuinely want to be with you." She says, "So I'm just telling you, as somebody that see you from afar, be careful." And I was like, wow.
Yeah, that must be hard.
Yeah, it's definitely an ego awareness when you have to realize, or you come to the realization that somebody may like you, not for who you really are, but what they can get out of being next to you.
Yeah, and in Travis Hunter's case, the rebuttal is that we've been together for 5 years, but it's safe to say 5 years ago, especially if she's allegedly, she said, "I'm not even attracted to him." When she was introduced of him, she made a comment, said, "I'm not even attracted to him." And we don't. I mean, that's what we don't know if that's what she really said, but it's safe to say that 5 years ago he was
already on his journey,
to stardom, and she could have seen, dollar signs, or at least fame. She saw fame, and so if that's the case, and she jumped on to that bandwagon. He was probably in his ego. And so, yeah, I mean, I just really feel sorry for guys like that. And it's a double-sided to this, because there's some women who, on one side, who is jumping on the ego, but there's some women on the other side who
genuinely care about these guys.
Well, no, but there's some women on the other side who wants the guy who ain't gonna go to greatness,
right.
And she's rather him be at the low level,
right?
Just be at that low level.
Yeah, she loves
doesn't
him,
like
the person rather than the athlete.
Right,
yeah.
which can really hinder him from being who God has for him to be, say a professional ball player or whatever, or pastor or whatever. She wants just that mediocre person that's just not going anywhere. They fall in love with that, which is usually looked at as trauma bonding. But yeah, so it's really, that's why you have to have, as you said, you got to really have God, because you need discernment, you need wise counsel. In this day and age, we can't tell nobody nothing. So you can't even have a really good, I'm sure nobody cannot tell me that Dion did not try to talk to him.
No, he's still talking to him, because I don't want to come across as if I know Dion, because I don't. We've never met. However, I follow what Deion has been doing as a coach since he was with Jackson and when he transferred over to Colorado. And there's no way that he's not being led by the Lord, by the Holy Spirit, and what he's doing. He's changed the culture of an entire city, he's changing what people think about right now when they talk about Colorado. Nobody was interested in watching Colorado football before Deion got there.
Right.
And if God wasn't leading him and helping him with all these young men and what he's doing with them, for them, by them, to them, I don't believe personally that it will be going. So I commend what he has been doing. But I also want to share with these young men that as much as in the positive influence as Deion is going to be for you guys, you still have to be the one to walk through that door. You're still the one that are making those decisions. Deion isn't going to make you choose football or that girl. He's going to leave it up to the ball players to say, these are young men. Only thing I can do is give them as much guidance as I possibly can, as God will have me do. But God also gave them free will. See, Deion knows that. That's why I commend what he's doing, because even with him going through the links he's going, these young men still are in a position to choose whether or not they want to listen or not listen. And all I want to share on this video for all these young men that are not just the Travis Hunters of the world, but any type of man that is in a position to where he's been working for years to get to a certain accomplishment that's going to change his family's future, financially, spiritually, and everything else.
And even meeting his own personal desires.
Even meeting his own desires, I would say, please seek counsel from the Lord Jesus Christ and what the word says. Because at the end of the day, I would rather take what these people have said and then say, you know what? Look, even if I feel like I love this girl, I'm going to say young woman because they're over 20. I'm going to say young woman. I would say she may take it disrespectful if he was to dig into what people are saying, but I would say, guess what? Then she may have to just be disrespected for a little bit. You need to do your own due diligence just to make sure before you make
receipts.
the decisions
alleged receipts
that, or whatever, for one way or the other, but allow the Holy Spirit to just lead you. So one, you're in alignment with what he has for you. And two, it should give you discernment on if any of that stuff is true, if you should listen to it, if you should let it go and keep moving your thing, whatever it is, but know that you're being guided in the way that the Lord will have you be guided.
And women, if you are in a situation where, because some of you are, the person God has for you is quote unquote a Travis Hunter, meaning that they are in a leadership, they are in a high profile position, and God has paired you with that person. And that could be the reason why you are quote unquote in the waiting room right now, because you're being prepared to be in that position. You got to really seek God, because that's a different, you know what I mean? Everybody has a unique position, a unique situation, but be very prayerful and careful, because it is a lot of patience that goes along with that. With him being more in a high profile, and then bringing, especially if you are a private person, if you're a homebody and you're now going into a public, platform with your husband, God has to prepare you, and you don't want to end up in a situation where your husband has to make a decision, because we all have free will, and whether it's God-ordained or not, whether it's God's perfect will or not, you both have the right to make a decision if you want it or not. I really feel for Travis, but he got to have a little bit more discernment in moving forward with her or with whoever else, and whoever the Travises are out there. Be very, you want to make sure that the person knows who you are as a person. If football leaves, if the high profile position on the job or wherever, if that goes away, can I live with this person as a man? Do I really like him enough?
Think about how many athletes that have already come through that have played and gave us everything they had, whether it was on the court or whether it was on the football field or whatever genre that they were placed in with the talents that they have. And then within 6 months to a year after they retire, they get divorced because they learn that their wife don't like them.
I know a situation, a close person who was engaged to a high profiler. He was a local high profiler, but nonetheless a high profiler, a public figure. And she did not like the person he was behind closed doors. And it took her about a year or so to figure it out. And the engagement was called off. She said she liked the public person that he was, but she did not like who he was as a private person. And mainly because the private person was on shutdown. The private person didn't even know himself in private. Some things that he was traumatized from that he wasn't dealing with, and so yeah. And so we put a lot. We both male and female do. We put on this ego, and we live outside of the ego, and we marry as a representative.
Yeah. So with this video, we're not trying to single Travis out or anything like that in his situation, because we know it happens to a lot of athletes. We know it happened to a lot of people that's trying to, like we said, make life-altering decisions right now. So what we just want to do is say, look, life is hard enough. The way things are going in America right now, you need God, because there's just too much going on. We need God in every single decision we make. So if anything else, we're not saying was right or wrong. We're not saying
you should leave her or not.
Yeah, we're not saying none of that, other than the fact that we would pray that you have God in your life.
Yes, and get some
that's
discernment.
who you're getting discernment from, and God is from right now. Not only Travis, but every person that's going through anything like this.
Yes.
Please consider getting God in your life.
Yep. All right, y'all.
So with that being said, we thank you for even taking the time to listen to this video, and we wish that you have just as many of the blessings and wishes that God has for you.
Yes, and may that person comes sooner than later.
No doubt.
All right.
Deuces.
Deuces.